What if the most powerful way to win a breakup, it isn't chasing, it isn't begging, it's not even proving your worth, but becoming untouchable, completely untouchable. A woman expects you to shatter when she walks away. She expects tears. She expects desperate calls, sleepless nights filled with regrets, just trying to reach out when we all know she doesn't exist. But once she believes she actually exists, she wants us and expects us to orbit in her world, even if she's gone. But imagine if you did not. Imagine instead of us collapsing, we rise, calm, silent, unmoved. And that is the essence of Stoicism. It is in morals. And here is the interesting part. It is the deepest fear hidden in her subconscious mind, that you wouldn't care, that you wouldn't call, and even you will not reach out. This is a story of a man who was betrayed by the one he loved. His heart is broken, yes, but it's not for the worst. It is for the better. And instead of allowing the heartbreak to destroy him, he steps into the unshakable man. He becomes one of the men who endured loss, death, and exile without even bending or trying to fold. In that, he just learns the truth that even at first, she never existed. She only existed in a form of perception where you showed love, care, and at first, she had the same love and care. And through that was what the brain believed in, that it will never end. The way we used to hold hands together, and the way she communicated the right words and made you feel loved, cared, and believed everything she talked about, and even her presence. And now you are aware that that was just a perception, and she was just an image. She never existed. Now the brain is just trying to fight what it thought was a reality. Now you are unbreakable. Now you are facing reality. And now she is the one questioning. She's the one fighting the urge of trying to reach out, fighting the feeling of the regrets, because she is now facing the void that she created. Not because you planned it to happen, not because you want it to happen, because at first, you know that is what happens to a humankind brain that is trying to control the outside events. That is what happens when she acts, responds to gain control and power when there is none, because the image she thought existed is a whole Isaac. You never really existed. You are just hoping, showing genuine love, genuine care, for the hope that it will be reciprocated, for the hope that this is a pure relationship on a loving and caring foundation, only to realize that was what the brain believed in. That was the reality that the brain created for it to survive when you thought she had the same love. And now that you realized that your worth was never appreciated, your presence and your energy, you accept her decision. And you be grateful that even when it hurts, for that is what happens to the physical sensation when the brain is trying to break from what it thought was a reality. It is the best decision. And in that, you don't call her. You don't reach out. You don't beg. You won't even try to explain yourself, to say the right words. You are not going to write that long paragraph and hit send at midnight. Because now the brain knows it's creating words to the empty spaces to solve the urge and the feeling. Trying to solve the physical sensations because of the empty space. But on her side, even when it hits you hard, you won't reach out. You won't view her status. Not because you are forcing yourself not to reach out, but that is what happens. You cannot fix what has already been fractured. It's not your work to create something real when the other person is seeking for power and control. For you understand that both of you are in different dimensions. How you see reality and want to create your own reality, it is through morals. On the other hand, with her, it is with control and power, and you fully understand that consciousness, it doesn't fit your dimension. That is why it will go against her expectations. That is why a storm of darkness will hit her when she never expects it. She might blush it off at first, but every time you don't reach out, you don't think about her, you don't even try to write the high message, and you fight the urge and the feeling of trying to reach out to a perception that doesn't exist. That is when it hits hard on her side. Not because it is a game, not because you're trying to hurt or planning to hurt her, but you understand this is how it all ends when you accept that you have no control over other people's choices and decisions. That you can never convince someone to see your worth, to appreciate your presence. And in that is when you are seeking freedom. Even when it won't be easy, you accept it is the best thing that can happen to you if you want growth.